Can we say, sir, that under this administration, mas natutukan natin kung ano ang tamang acquisition for the capability of the Philippine Navy as well?
Definitely, sapagkat may direction na tayo. Mas powerful na radars. We need to know what's out there. Hindi lamang land-based sensors o radars, merong air-based, may ship-based, may space-based. Barko, maraming bago. Air Force, maraming bagong mga kagamitan. Aeroplano, helicopters. Under the administration, modern equipment, more capable, yun ang critical doon. And their supporting package.
No spin, no lies, just the truth. Isang magandang araw sa ating lahat. So we are back another day, another fun discussion kasama ang ating guests. Welcome sa Just the Truth Podcast. Ako, ang inyong lingkod, J. Tristan Tariela. At samahan niyo ulit ako upang kilalanin natin ang mga personalidad at kanilang buhay sa likod ng kanilang mga tungkulin. Sino ba sila bago sila naging successful? Ano ba ang kanilang tindig at pananaw sa particular na issue ng bansa? Ito ay nagsisilbing platform to discuss different societal and political issues ng ating bansa. That's why we invite experts upang bigyan tayo ng insight sa mga bagay na ito. Ang issue ng West Philippine Sea ay isa na nga ata sa pinakamainit at pinakamabigat na geopolitical issue ng bansa. It is an episode na dapat mayroong pakialam ang mga Pilipino. However, it is frustrating na mayroong mga tao na dinidismiss ang pagpanalo ng Pilipinas sa 2016 arbitration case laban sa China, even demoting it to just a mere paper. Hindi rin mawawala ang mga misinformation sa internet sa kasinunghalingang ipinapakalat ng netizens na sumusuporta sa ganitong uri ng propaganda. You know what's the best weapon against it? Just like the name of the podcast, katotohanan. Katotohanan na pinagtitibay ng 2016 arbitral ruling that heavily favors the Philippines na ang 9-dash line, land reclamation at pangharas ng ating mga isdang Pilipino ay unlawful at labag sa UNCLOS. To all my fellow Filipinos, let us learn to differentiate facts from fake news, lalo na sa digital space. Sobrang daming impormasyon ang ating nasasagap bilang internet user. Dahil dito, maging vigilant, lalo na sa mga iba't ibang issue ng bansa. Magtanong sa experts and just simply Googling ay malaking bagay na to prevent the spread of misinformation. Kaya we are grateful sa mga personalidad na tumindig sa katotohanan at ipinaglalaban ang Pilipinas. Individuals that inspire young generations to fight for the truth and abolish lies. Speaking of fighting for the truth, and paninindigan sa soberanya ng Pilipinas, ang makakasama natin ay isa sa mga kakampi natin sa laban ng West Philippine Sea. Let us explore his life, leadership, career, at kanyang paninindigan sa West Philippine Sea. None other, the AFP spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad. Welcome sa Just the Truth podcast, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Maraming salamat sa pagpapaunlak mo, sir, na mag-guest ka dito sa podcast ko. Una sa lahat, sir, binabati kita ng isang masayang selebrasyon ng ating Araw ng Kalayaan. Today, we are celebrating our 128th day, a year of our independence.
Yes, Jay. Thank you also for having me here. Congratulations for having your podcast.
Pangarap ko to, sir.
Pangarap mo?
Oo, sir.
At yung Just the Truth.
Oo, sir.
Pawang katotohanan lamang. Maganda ito.
Walang lies, no disinformation, no fake news.
Maganda
ito, sir,
ito
ang
because
objective nito.
we'll be able to address a lot of fake news, false narratives na umiikot.
Speaking of retired, sir, let me start our conversation with that question. Nag-retire ka na, sir, last
April 23.
And right now, kahit ako ang active, ikaw ang retired, ikaw pa rin ang nakasuot ng uniform.
At ikaw hindi naka-uniform.
At ako ang hindi naka-uniform. Can you explain, sir, why you're still wearing the uniform? What is your current designation? And why is it important for you to still maintain the position of AFP spokesperson for the West Philippines?
Yes, una sa lahat, I retired, Jay, last 23 April after 39 years and 3 weeks of active military service kasama sa pagiging kadete. On my retirement night, on the ceremony, binasa ang orders from GHQ that as a reservist, I was extended active duty training as the AFP spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea. So every Tuesday sa regular press con ng AFP sa Camp Aguinaldo, I'm there as, as the spokesperson, naka-white ako. And on special occasions like this, when I represent the organization, speaking about West Philippine Sea and the truth. That's why I'm here this afternoon.
Marami nagtatanong, sir, talagang the armed forces of the Philippines, well, for me, it's not just the armed forces of the Philippines. Our country really needs your expertise. And that is the reason why you have to be extended longer. Tama ba, sir? I mean, that is, for the exigency of the service, you have to still continue your military service.
Yes, I would say yes, but without lifting my own share. It just so happened because of, we grew up in a family na English-speaking kami sa bahay. And then, na-train kami ng father ko who's a public speaker. So, lahat kami mga kapatid. Public speaking is part of us. Number 2, I've been assigned in Mindanao, galing sa NAVSOG, Special Operations. I've been assigned in the West Philippine Sea, aboard ship. I've been with intelligence. So, if you combine the three, ito ang hinaharap natin na threat from the Chinese Communist Party. West Philippine Sea, false narratives, intel operations, and special operations. So I would also like to thank the Chief of Staff, AFP, si General Browner, for designating me. Pro bono naman ito, but I love doing this job. So, I'm here. Extended ako.
I-clarify ko lang, sir, para malinawan ng mga listeners natin. When you say pro bono, you're not receiving not even a single peso from the government as you perform your job as AFP spokesperson.
Yes, walang compensation to. Wala akong sweldo dito. The office is provided with, naghanap ako ng office to renovate. May facilities naman, may sasakyan. Yung sasakyan may fleet card naman yon. Doon tayo nabubuhay. And apart from that, I'm a private citizen. And I do this every Tuesday afternoon and on times like this.
Pero
Tuesday morning rather.
Pero di ba, sir, ang mga misis natin, ang hinahanap nila lagi
Yung ATM.
Hindi, not the ATM. But the actual day of our retirement. Because dahil sa military service, matagal tayong nawala, mas marami tayong panahon sa serbisyo. So our wife, really look forward the day of our retirement. So si ma'am, sir, naintindihan ka naman, sir, na your patriotic service is really your priority even after your retirement.
Yes, actually sinabi niya, it's about time na maghanap na ang Navy, ang AFP ng kapalit mo. Pwede naman mag-train. So may program naman ang Navy Public Affairs Office for that. In fact, I remember, Jay, 3 years ago, kaya may position ng AFP spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea is because inumpisahan mo.
Hindi, sir. I think
to give the country, yung taong bayan, a complete picture of law enforcement which is yours and military operations na dati wala, they put up this position at nilagay ako dito. That's why in 2024, 2023, nagsama na tayo nun.
I think, let me go back, sir, dun sa sinabi mo kanina, with your talent in public speaking, your experience and understanding of what is happening in the West Philippine Sea, that is very important for the armed forces of the Philippines for messaging. It's because, alam natin, sir, ang pinakamatinding challenge natin sa West Philippine Sea is our battle for the narrative. And not just battle for the narrative, it is our fight for us to advance our factual narrative based on international law in accordance with UNCLOS. And ang hirap ng laban natin is because for China, they don't care about the factual narrative. They're just there to, spread lies and misinformation. So, para sa akin, the reason why the Armed Forces of the Philippines has to look for a person as competent as you, as spokesperson, is because mahirap labanan ang, alam mo yun, sir, yung narrative na puro kasinungalingan lang. So, you need to have somebody who really understand the situation in the West Philippine Sea and who has the capacity and capability to express the messaging pagdating sa West Philippines.
Yes, alam niyo, totoo yan. And ang masaklap kasi dyan, if we will not be in that space, in that domain, ang manaig ay yung kanyang narrative. And hindi naman yan laban sa atin, law enforcement or military. It's the public. So they would like to shape public perception. And we have to remember that yung mantra of skill, the acme of skill, yung pinakamagaling na warrior ayon sa Chinese Communist Party doctrine is he who could win the battle, the war, without firing a single shot. So before we know it, baka talo na tayo. Because of yung katuruan ni Sun Tzu. To win 100 battles without firing a single shot is the acme of skill. So anong panlaban na doon? Information warfare. Political warfare. If you look at society today, the Philippines, across all dimensions of national power, naandun ang fingerprint nila na I believe mamaya tatalakayin natin. So ano ang panglaban natin doon? Narratives din, yung katotohanan lang.
Alam mo, para sa akin, sir, although hindi naman nagkakalayo itsura natin, pero dahil nabanggit natin na nag-retire ka na, so ibig sabihin, you are too senior than me, no? Decades ang layo natin, sir. And you've been in the military service that long. And you have been assigned in the West Philippine Sea a decade before more than a decade, even before I joined the Coast Guard Service. Naging tactical officer ka pa namin, sir. Kadete pa lang ako. So, ang tanong ko, sir, no, mula noon hanggang ngayon, since you joined the Navy, for you, ano ang bagay na ang mga Pilipino, para sa atin, kulang pa ng pagkakaintindi regarding our fight about the West Philippine Sea?
Yeah, una sa lahat, dapat maintindihan natin, ito ang totoong laban na dapat hinaharap ng armed forces, ng gobyerno, at ng taong bayan. Because for 6 decades, the AFP has been confronting the internal security conflict na hindi naman talaga dapat yan trabaho ng isang professional armed force. That's why yung AFP nahila tayo sa political dimension of national power. We were involved in that. Now, nung nagsabi yung ating Commander-in-Chief, si Presidente mismo, in 2023 when he went to Visayas Command, ito naalala ko to, the AFP has a new mission set. We are now shifting from internal security to external defense. In 2024, sinabi naman ni SND, we will be implementing a comprehensive archipelagic defense concept. Etong dalawang to, mabilis natin na pick up. AFP, Coast Guard, the other law enforcement agencies of government. Yung taong bayan dapat maintindihan din nila that the threat is existential. Ibig sabihin, yung pagiging Pilipino natin, yung pagiging Pilipinas ng ating bansa, ang nakasalalay dito. It is intergenerational. I've heard you say this many times. Tatawid to beyond our generation, Jay. Yun ang dapat maintindihan ng taong bayan. Hindi lamang yun sa Palawan o sa western part ng bansa, but all over the country.
Para sa iyo, sir, no, as we celebrate our Independence Day, what do you think is the important efforts na magagawa pa ng ating pamahalaan para gisingin ang damdaming nasyonalismo ng Pilipino? Because sometimes, magkasama tayo lagi, sir, no, in engaging the youth, talking to different people in different parts of the country, may mga nagsasabi pa rin na, pag pinag-usapan ng West Philippine Sea, hindi tayo relatable dyan. Topic lang yan para sa Armed Forces of the Philippines, para sa Coast Guard, para sa ordinaryong Pilipino, wala tayong kinalaman dyan. Ano pa ba sa tingin mo, sir, ang kulang pa na dapat nating gawin para ma-realize ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino na pag pinag-usapan ng West Philippine Sea, issue nating lahat to bilang Pilipino?
If we look at what the AFP muna is doing, meron tayong complan, communications plan mulat. Bigger government, we have transparency initiative. Ito ang unang hakbang na napaka-importante. Bakit? In any fight, awareness is the first step. Dapat alam mo may kalaban ka. Pag hindi mo alam may kalaban ka, ang dating sa'yo, holiday, peaceful. Di ba? Ang tawag natin dyan sa Navy, steaming as usual. Nasa karagatan ka, malawak, wala kang kasalubong, walang kasabay. Yung duty, pwede mag-relax sa taas ng barko. But if you understand na may threat tayo, magpe-prepare ka. Pag sinabi na may parating na bagyo, ang tao naghahanda. In like manner, we have to inform the people na may totoong threat. And ang problema, yung threat mismo, nagbibigay din ng narrative na iba. So it has now become a battle of the perception of the people, shaping the cognitive domain. Ito yung final battlefield, yung isip ng taong bayan. And if you look at it, ang daming binibigay na false narrative, misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. Merong totally false, merong konti lang katotohanan, merong tama, pero ang konteksto mali. So pag ito ay pinick up ng taong bayan, ma-shape ang perception nila, sila nga na mag-question ng government. So the first step is already there, Komplan Mulat, the Transparency Initiative. Secondly, sa hanin ng AFP, we have our modernization. And then thirdly, we have our alliances. And lastly, importante ito, national leadership. Etong apat na to ang nakikita kong dapat may continuity ng ating gobyerno.
Himay-himay natin, sir. First of all, ang sabi mo, I definitely agree with you. The first thing that we should realize is there a threat. The moment na masabi mo may threat talaga, dapat makuha mo ang atensyon ng lahat ng Pilipino. That our national security is now being put at risk. No? Ang ginagawa ng Transparency Initiative, sir, we expose the Chinese aggression.
Yes.
Ikaw, sir, weekly, you update our kababayan pagdating sa presence ng Chinese Maritime Forces in different parts of the West Philippine Sea. Pero meron pa rin tayong mga kritiko. May mga nagsasabi pa din na ang Transparency Initiative, ang ginagawa ng Armed Forces of the Philippines, na pagsasabi ng mga deployment ng mga maritime forces na to, basically, for some, no, although very small portion of society lang naman na nagiging kritiko natin dito, is that they are saying na desensitize daw ang mga Pilipino pagdating sa sinabi ulit na winater canon na naman, wala na naman tayong ginawa, winater canon na. And then at the same time, sabi mo, sir, there are deployment of this number of PLA Navy, China Coast Guard, and so on. So how do you respond to those people who are saying na the Transparency Initiative is actually nothing? It desensitized Filipino audience na parang common na lang yan. What's your take on that, sir?
On the other hand, I will say that the Transparency Initiative awakens the Filipino. Hindi siya na-desensitize, hindi siya nananawa o naging manhid. Ito ay nagpapagising sa taong bayan na talagang ang presensya ng Partido Komunista ng China, ng mga galamay niya sa karagatan, ay naandyan parate. So, any move henceforth that government will do, dapat we have to go back to the reality na nandyan pa rin sila. Hindi po pwede magsabi na mag-usap tayo for a code of conduct. Halimbawa lang. Tapos, we will not realize the fact na nandun pa rin sila sa ating karagatan. So by giving the people yung katotohanan, then alam nila na andyan pa rin yung ating mga adversary. I fully support, and I even salute yung mga diplomats natin. Trabaho nila yon. In like manner, trabaho ng military and law enforcement na ilabas ang katotohanan para makita ng taong bayan. Yung sinasabi ba sa negotiating table, consistent ba sa nangyari sa baba? Kaya importante, mailabas pa rin natin ang mga presensya, mga reports natin about their presence sa ating karagatan.
Alam mo, sir, madagdag ko lang, no? Every time na maririnig ko yung mga ganyang comments or, part of the audience asking me na na-desensitize sila, I would always remind our audience, no, na ang Pilipinas was actually colonized by Spain as early as 1521. 1898, for more than 3 centuries, naging colony tayo ng Spain. Pero hindi naman yun pumigil kay Jose Rizal para sabing, masanay na tayo, colony naman talaga tayo forever. Di ba?
Yun, oo.
Imagine, more than 300 years, wala namang Pilipino nagsabing, hindi, okay na tayong colony. And then the Americans came. And yet, people still push for our independence. The same thing with the Japanese. Wala naman nagsabi na, nung panahon ng Hapon, yung kapitbahay natin, pinagsamantalahan, sa kabilang baryo ulit, pinagsamantala. Wala naman nagsabing mga lola natin tsaka lolo natin.
Masanay na tayo.
Masanay ka na dyan. Sanay na tayo sa ganyang di ba?
Bakit ngayon lang?
The same thing, di ba, sir? So ngayon, pag sinabing may winater canon next month, na-desensitize ka na kasi winater, I don't think so. Ang ating mga kababayan, gaya ng sinabi mo, sir, patuloy nating ginigising yung damdaming nasyonalismo. And I agree with what you said. The only way that we can awaken the sense of patriotism is for them to be provided with the right information.
Yes, unless otherwise, ang nagpapalabas nito ay mga umuulit na narratives ng kabila or mga mouthpieces ng Chinese Communist Party. Sabi mo nga, for more than 3 centuries, Spain, Amerikano, Hapon, wala nagsabi na masanay na tayo. Bakit ngayon lang?
Yes, sir. Diba?
Bakit ngayon lang? So, for all we know, they could be part of the propaganda machinery of the Chinese Communist Party.
Mag-move naman tayo, sir, no, sa issue ng Baho de Masinloc. Sa ilang linggo, sir, na ginawa mong briefing, nakikita natin palagi. Alam mo, sir, para sa akin, mahalaga tong tanong na to. Kasi ang mga trolls and agents of disinformation, lagi rin nilang sinasabi na etong si Commodore Tariela, si Admiral Trinidad, sila lang talaga nagpapaingay ng West Philippine Sea. Kasi nung panahon ng nakaraang administrasyon, wala naman tayong nababalitaan na ganyan. So, ibig sabihin, mas mataas ang tension ngayon. How would you respond to those people who are saying na it's the situation the West Philippine Sea worsened under this administration compared to that previous?
Yun, una sa lahat, I would like to say that yung approach ko parate is I don't take anything personally. Maraming mga kritiko sa atin, sabi ko sa aking wife, hayaan mo lang, karapatan nila yon. I only focus on the issue. So those who are saying that, I would say number one, hindi sila informed. Misinformed sila. Maliban sa troll sila or mouthpiece ng Chinese Communist Party. Number two, misinformed sila. Because if you go back in history, kailan ba nag-umpisa na pumasok o mapansin natin ang mga markers, mga barko ng Chinese Communist Party, ng PLA sa West Philippine Sea? 1992. Anong significant event that caused the PLA to come into our EEZ? Yung pag-pull out ng US bases. So ang mga nagsasabi na gumulo, they are not aware of history. Mag-aral muna sila. And then para hindi sila mapapahiya na wala ang babaw ng kaalaman nila. Now, if you say na walang gulo, previously, kasi wala nagsasabi. So
Walang nababalita.
wala nababalita kasi ayaw nga ibalita. Because back then, I don't want to comment on policy, but iba ang policy noon. But what I would like to say now is, nilalabas natin yung katotohanan para magising yung ating mga kababayan at makita, totoo nga yung threat na ito. And it is like a creeping cancer of communism. Dahan-dahan sinasakop tayo. Kaya nga salami slicing eh. Hindi mo hihiwain yung big chunk of meat sa gitna, di ba? Dahan-dahanin mo. So before you know it, bihag na tayo. Ito ang nais natin malaman ng ating mga kababayan. If you look at the country, real estate, ang daming kumukuha na Chinese nationals. If you look at the political sector, Your Honor, lumaki ako sa farm, wala akong alam. Mayor na isang town sa Tarlac. If you look at the education sector, ang daming foreign exchange students sa Norte. So across all instruments or dimensions of
Not to
national
mention
power.
the Confucius Institute, sir.
Kasama yan. Kasama yung mga retirees na 35 years old, ang tawag yan, fighting age male. Not mentioning yung mga nakapag-settle sa atin na may fake birth certificates which will allow them to participate sa election. So if you look at all dimensions of national power, naandun yung galamay. So ito ang sinasabi natin sa ating mga kababayan. And we are not warmongering. Hindi natin pinapagulo. Sinasabi lamang katotohanan at yung katotohanan ang nagpapamulat sa ating mga kababayan.
Using the equation that you mentioned, sir, no? How can we be able to address our fight in the West Philippine Sea? You started by saying we should identify the threat and awareness. Second is for us to also come up the institutionalization ng military doctrine.
Yeah.
So under Secretary Gilbert Chodoro, we already have the comprehensive archipelagic defense. And can you share with us, sir, how it changed the operational procedures of the Philippine Navy in strengthening our capability?
I would like to say that yung ginawa ni SND, current SND, second term niya as SND. So he has all the experience and the knowledge kung ano dapat ang gagawin ng DND and AFP and the other components of DND. Very good ang timing niya. Nung nagsabi si Presidente na mag-shift tayo to external defense, the question now is how? By implementing a different approach. By being able to secure and to protect all the way up to the EEZ and even beyond. So, ang daming changes sa AFP under sa term ni SND. Ito, gagawin ng tumbala ng mga kritiko natin, ng mga basher natin. Ano? And that includes defense diplomacy. Ang dami natin mga enhanced defense cooperation with other countries. Kasama dito yung EDCA sites, kasama yung pag-shift ng bilateral exercise na balikatan and other exercises to being multilateral, multinational. Nag-participate yung Japan for the first time sa ating balikatan. Nagpadala ng tropa, boots on the ground. Ang Japan nag-reinterpret na rin ang kanilang constitution and the 3 principles for the transfer of military equipment and technology. Pati sila nag-open up that we are now accessible. We now have access to get military-grade, lethal and non-lethal capabilities. So lahat ito is because of the CADC. So the CADC is just saying, yung yaman dagat up to the EEZ and the extended continental shelf ang dapat makinabang Pilipino. Kasi hindi natin alam, ang nag-harvest nun ay yung ibang bansa, lalong-lalo na ang China.
Let me also take this opportunity, sir, no? Kasi may mga kababayan tayo na until now, they haven't really understood yet the difference between the Philippine Navy and the Philippine Coast Guard. Can you explain to our listeners, sir, ano ang different roles to play ng Philippine Navy and that of the Philippine Coast Guard?
Yun, naalala ko tuloy, Jay, yung sinabi mo yung PhD dissertation mo. Di ba?
Yes, sir.
That back then, the Philippine Navy and the Coast Guard were one.
Yes, sir.
Ang Coast Guard was under the Philippine Navy. But Coast Guard law enforcement function to. That is the constabulary function ng isang naval power. 1998, hiniwala yon. Para a Navy will focus on defense, maritime defense, while the Coast Guard will focus on law enforcement.
The constabulary roles.
The constabulary role. Ngayon, ang Coast Guard was able to expand and become more professional kasi maliwanag ang kanyang mandato. So when we speak of enforcing maritime law, that's a Coast Guard function. Ang Navy naman, we were able to professionalize through the modernization program kasama ng Air Force and Army, and we are now going towards being a professional fighting force. So law enforcement, Coast Guard, white ship, military, maritime defense, war and defense, gray ship, Navy, and AFP. Yun ang primary difference. At times, the Philippine Navy will support the Coast Guard in law enforcement. And may usapan naman ng ganon. But primarily, it is the Coast Guard function. At kami ang sumusuporta sa inyo.
Yes, sir. At least, to simply put it, kapag Philippine Navy, gaya na sinabi ko, sir, no, that is a constitutional mandate ng Armed Forces of the Philippines, territorial defense.
Yeah.
And Coast Guard will never take that role because we are only focused on constabulary roles. Basically, the maritime governance, no, related to maritime law enforcement, maritime safety, and marine environmental protection. Now, a while ago, sir, you mentioned modernization, which is also very crucial in our stand pagdating sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea. Can we say, sir, that under this administration for President Marcos, and of course, through the leadership of Secretary Gilbert Chodoro, mas natutukan natin kung ano ang tamang acquisition for the capability of the Philippine Navy as well?
Definitely, sapagkat may direction na tayo. Maliwanag yung ating direction, CADC, beyond the 12 nautical mile territorial sea, EEZ, extended continental shelf. So, ibang capabilities ang kailangan mo doon. Mas competent, mas malakas na radars, mas powerful na radars. We need to know what's out there. Hindi lamang land-based sensors o radars, merong air-based, may ship-based, may space-based. So before we even operate in our EEZ, our maritime domain, we should know what's out there. So yung information will come in through our sensors to give us a complete MDA, maritime domain awareness. Hindi lamang knowing what's out there, we should be able to get there. So barko, maraming bago. Air Force, maraming bagong mga kagamitan, aeroplano, helicopters. Not only the equipment, the capability, but how do you support and sustain them? Kasi baka pag nabili mo, acquisition is only 30% of the cost. 70% is a life cycle. Pag nakalimutan mo na dapat i-maintain mo itong mga gamit na high-tech na to, wala ka pang kalaban, hindi mo na magamit itong mga to. So may emphasis din dyan yung ating Department of Defense. It's not only getting the equipment, it is supporting and sustaining them. Part yan ng ating modernization. All of these have been institutionalized under the current leadership of Secretary Gibo. Again, I say this directly sapagkat galing tayo sa serbisyo at nakita ko yan. Not that hindi nagawa yan dati. But now, under the current administration, modern equipment, more capable,
Yeah.
yun ang critical doon. And their supporting package.
And again, sir, part of what you discussed, no, you also gave importance on our alliance, no, and of course our defense engagement with like-minded states. Under Secretary Gilbert Chodoro, we are now building a much more stronger and much more ironclad alliance with the United States. Can we say, sir, na under this administration, mas na paigting natin ang ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa Estados Unidos in the context of strengthening our alliance and of course the Mutual Defense Treaty?
Yes, definitely. Sapagkat makita naman natin. Mahirap naman kung hanggang salita lang yon na ironclad. But how do you describe or operationalize ironclad? Look at Balikatan. For the first time, andyan yung mga Japanese partners natin. At yung Canadian forces natin. Yung kagamitan at weaponry. High-tech. For how many years, sa Balikatan, ang ginagamit natin yung ating capabilities lang. Bakit? Pag sinasabi na itong gamit na to, wala kayo nito. You don't have to train with that. Today, kakatapos naman ng Balikatan, wala pa sa atin yung mga gamit na yan, but we're now having hands-on experience. In the event, nakakailanganin natin, alam na natin. In the event, crisis or conflict, alam natin how to use this high-tech equipment, missile systems, at iba't ibang cyber capabilities, etc. So, lumakas yung ating relationship with the US. Not only that, may spillover effect. We now have 5 SOFAs or RAAs or enhanced defense relationships. 5 countries, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, France. More coming up. So, ito ay mga senyales na yung direction ng ating Department of Defense is not only towards unilateral defense, but multilateral sapagkat maraming bansa ang nais na manaig ang international law sa part na ito ng Indo-Pacific.
Besides from Balikatan, gaya na sinabi mo, sir, multilateral. Mas marami na tayong MMCA ngayon, Multilateral Maritime Coordinative Activity. No? But despite of all this engagement na meron tayo, meron pa rin tayong sektor sa lipunan na tila nakukumbinse ng linyahan na what we're actually doing is warmongering. Tayo daw ay nadidiktahan ng Amerika, tayo daw ay nagkakaganito dahil sa great power competition between the United States and China. How do you respond to all these comments, sir?
Again, 2 approaches. Number 1, sila ay mouthpiece ng ating adversary. Number 2, they are misinformed. Okay, bakit mouthpiece? Imbis na susuportaan mo ang bansa mo, gagawa ka na issue na pumapanay sa kabilang side. Number 2, bakit misinformed? Misinformed because ang nag-uumpisa ng gulo sa Indo-Pacific, sa South China Sea, even in the West Philippine Sea, hindi naman tayo. Internationally, ano ang thrust ng Chinese Communist Party? Rapid build-up of the military. Rapid nuclearization. And then, panghihimasok sa EEZ ng iba't ibang bansa sa South China Sea. Hindi ito warmongering. Ito ay totoong panggugulo na. What we are doing, especially sa AFP, is just to develop our capability to allow us to perform our mandate of securing and protecting the country. Mandato natin yan. When we do that, we are not warmongering. We are only addressing the potential conflict na inumpisa na ng ating adversary. Mas pangit naman down the road in history kung sasabihin ng mga future generation of Filipinos, yung mga members ng AFP and Coast Guard and yung government natin in 2020s, pinabayaan yung bansa, hindi nag-prepare. I would even liken this to the 1930s European theater or Pacific theater. Bago nag-umpisa ang World War II sa Europe and even in the Pacific side, ang dami ng girian. But I don't think that they prepared that well. Ngayon, we have seen the lessons of history. That's why yung actions natin is just to be able to give the AFP the wherewithal to perform her mandate.
And madagdag ko lang, sir, no? Regarding dun sa comment ng mga trolls na to, na we are dictated by the United States, kahit tanggalin natin sa equation ang Estados Unidos,
Gagawin pa rin natin to.
gagawin pa rin ng Armed Forces of the
Yes.
Philippines ito. At patuloy pa rin nating titindigan.
Yes.
It is, as a sovereign state, we have our own strategic agency para magdesisyon kung ano ang mas naaayon for our national interest.
I like that, Jay, yung sinabi mo. Tanggalin mo man ang Estados Unidos, tanggalin mo yung MDT. Gagawin pa rin natin to.
Yes.
I was asked sa isang studio interview last week, the other week, na kaya ba ng depensaan ng ating AFP or Philippine Navy without any foreign help? I said, we welcome the challenge. Hindi pinag-uusapan yung mananalo ka ba. But ang sinasabi ko is, we will fight with everything that we have. Sapagkat karangalan natin yan. Di ba sabi nga yung ating Independence Day, dugo, pawis at luha ang binuhos ng ating mga bayani upang manatiling nagwawagayway ng malaya yung ating bandila. So itong mga nagsasabi ng ganon, they have no appreciation of history. Or sila ay mga mouthpieces ng adversary natin.
Tsaka madagdag ko lang, sir, no? Para sa akin, ang ating obligasyon bilang Pilipino ay tindigan ng ating kalayaan and of course, West Philippine Sea, parte ng Pilipinas. So we should not be swayed nitong mga linyahan na to. Kasi alam naman natin, sir, etong narrative na magkakagera, kailangan na lang natin talagang ipamigay ang pag-asa. Ayoko lang sana sabihin, pero nasasabi ko, sir. May mga nagsasabing ganyan. But I think we need to understand, kaya sinabi mo, sir, obligasyon natin to para sa susunod na saling lahi ng Pilipino. Pangalawa, utang natin to sa mga bayaning nauna sa atin. Nakakalungkot kapag isinulat sa kasaysayan na etong panahon ni Admiral Trinidad at ni Commodore Tariela, pinamigay na nila ang West Philippine Sea.
Yun.
Di ba, sir?
Hindi mo lang pinaglaban. Di ba?
So, from the West Philippine Sea, sir, let's move a bit doon sa mga naging issues natin sa West Philippine Sea na presence of Chinese spies.
Hindi lamang sa karagatan, kundi tumawid na sa lupa.
Yes, tumawid na sa lupa. From Pogo, from Alice Guo, from Chinese influencer, at ngayon mga miyembro na mismo ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na how would you put it, na ang pangit naman, sir, ng nasupil, no?
Na co-op.
Naharang, nahuli, nahuli
Oo.
ng Philippine Navy, no? Intelligence, naval intelligence, no? Na nagbibigay ng mga impormasyon na critical sa ating operation sa West Philippine Sea. Do you find it very alarming na dumating na tayo sa point na ang ating mga miyembro ng iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan ay nagbibigay na ng impormasyon which is very critical for our operation?
Let's put it this way. Alam ko naman, personally, alam ko na kasama ito sa modus operandi ng Chinese Communist Party. Yaman nga lang, in the past, wala pa tayo nahuhuli. It was only, I think, in 2023, yung isang Chinese national may hawak na IMSI catcher ang na-accost sa may Makati, sa kanyang kondo. Nasundan ito ni Mr. Deng na may dalang LiDAR. And then yung Palawan 5, nag-set up ng mga cameras covering Rita Island and the approaches to Ulugan Bay, Oyster Bay, to monitor yung labas at pasok ng Coast Guard ships and Philippine Navy ships. And then nasundan ito ng nahuli sa Grande Island, Chiquita Island, na meron Chinese resort doon na walang access sa Filipino, kundi mga Chinese nationals lamang. And Chiquita Island and Grande Island, they cover the entrance of Subic Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it all over the country and start connecting the dots, merong effort talaga to collect information by surreptitious means ang Chinese Communist Party sa atin. Hindi ako alarmed, hindi ako nabigla. I would say I'm concerned. Concerned because noon pa man alam ko na. I already felt na ginagawa sa atin. Just a matter of time. And I would like to credit yung KADSI because we had to look at how could we defend ourselves internally. That's why we have the internal threat program. And the AFP was able to make great strides in protecting the organization from within. Kaya nga, may mga nakita tayo. And I would like to say, patuloy pa rin yung effort na yan.
Kung ngayon, sir, we're going to lobby sa ating legislatura, what are the important laws that need to be passed para mas mapaigting natin ang pag-counter ng mga ganitong spies, pag-counter din natin ng misinformation? What are those things that you have in mind na kailangan nating maipasa ngayon para as a nation we can be able to address this foreign interference of the Chinese government?
We have to understand first na iba yung operating environment today than in the 30s and 40s na kung saan nagawa yung batas na yon. Dati-rati, it was more of collecting information by agents, yung tao mismo. Ngayon, you have different capabilities. Cyber, information. So, iba't iba. We have to understand yun ang environment natin ngayon. Number 2, dapat meron tayong parusa na hindi lamang during war. Even during peacetime, how do we address that?
Mhm.
Number 3, how do we address pag foreigner or local? So ito mga dapat ma-take up. I believe na nati-take up naman ito ng iba't ibang komite sa Congress and sa Senate when it comes to enhancing our espionage law.
Alam mo, sir, para sa akin, pag pinag-usapan natin ng West Philippine Sea, since we started this in 2023 at ngayon, based on the most recent survey, 76% ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino ay tutugon daw na ipagtanggol ang ating teritoryo, no? Last December, 94% of Filipinos also said that they support the transparency effort of the government. Do you think, sir, we are striding and advancing our fight to combat misinformation and also to awaken the sense of patriotism ng ating mga kababayan?
Yes, of course. We are gaining ground. But again, hindi naman downhill or flat ang surface na tinatakbuhan natin. Paakyat ito. It's an incline. And hindi lamang to yung surface, but may opposition. May mga naglalabas ng fake narratives. May mga naglalabas ng false narratives. Yung iba doon, okay lang kung foreign. Yung iba kapwa Pilipino. Na binabatikos tayo, binabatikos sa stand ng government for West Philippine Sea. But amid all of this, I would say that we are gaining great strides as reflected sa survey results. And ito ay magpapatuloy. Itong effort natin. Sapagkat it's beyond you, Jay, it's beyond me. Ito ay intergenerational. Dapat mas maraming Pilipino ang nakakaintindi and who will take up, heed the call to speak out the truth and to fight for the country, especially sa laban at sa West Philippine Sea.
Para sa iyo, sir, in our fight for misinformation, encountering all this fake narrative, ano ang mas challenging na labanan? Yung mga soulless trolls or yung mga agent of information na nasa gobyerno?
Lahat yan, lahat yan threat na hinaharap natin. At iba-ibang pamamaraan ang pag-address sa kanila. Trolls, you could magnify a fake narrative, a false narrative with the click of a button. Pwede ka maraming fake accounts. You could have a lot of, and you could multiply this. Exponential yung approach yan . Ang bilis. One click, it becomes worldwide. Meron din tayong mga nagbibigay ng narratives ng mga kapwa Pilipino. Some are in government, others are outside of government. But I would like to focus more on those outside government. Ito ay mga individuals who have access to the tri-media, to social media, na naglalabas ng iba't ibang kwento para pahinain yung stand ng gobyerno at ng laban ng Coast Guard and Philippine Navy and AFP when it comes to the West Philippine Sea. These are all part of the operating environment that we are in. The fight has become more challenging, but hindi tayo magpapatuloy in speaking out the truth. Sabi nga sa Proverbs, thou shalt know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Ang sinasabi natin, just the truth.
Speaking of cognitive warfare, sir, naniniwala ka ba, sir, na ang parating na 2028 national election, the Chinese government would also exert so much effort to also influence the outcome of our national election?
Good question. Let me answer it this way, Jay. Number one, I don't want to sound political. I wear the uniform. Number two, I don't want to speculate. I'm only focusing on issues, not on personalities. It is part again of the cookbook of the Chinese Communist Party to support or to undermine a duly constituted government sa mga hinaharap ng bansa. in order for their own supported candidates to win. Kung manalo ang supported candidates nila, hindi mo na kailangan ng kinetic action o ng conflict. Kasi kontrolado mo ng gobyerno. Let's go down to the local level, local government unit, Bamban Tarlac. Nanalo si Alice Guo, mayor, may pogo doon. When you operate in Bamban, yun ang mayor mo, mas madali, mas malaya ang movement ng mga Chinese nationals or even the supporters. Bakit? Yung mayor, supportado kayo. And they would also like to do that. It is part of their cookbook to institute regime change, either through force, sinauna yun, history will tell us na nangyari yun, or through subtle means by joining the electoral process, infiltrating government, and destroying government from within.
Speaking of destroying the government from within, sir, how do you feel if there are some people in the government, whether they are elected, appointed, or nandyan sila sa local government or national government agencies, who refuse to believe on the narrative that we are putting forward? And at some point, they would sometimes negate our own position and the factual narrative that we release. Anong nararamdaman mo, sir, kapag may Pilipinong ganyan na nasa gobyerno?
Before I go to my feelings, I'd first like to address that. Not only sa mga in government, but even yung common tao natin. I would just like to say na kulang sa kaalaman. Wag naman sana na magbulag-bulagan. Maliwanag naman na binabangga tayo, nili water cannon, military grade laser, harassment sa eroplano, sa karagatan. Ito naman ay factual na nangyayari. And this, what we see on TV, on the video, dun is, hindi ito gawa-gawa. Last, was that 17 August, nagbanggaan pa nga yung barko nila. Kakahabol sa barko ninyo,
Yes, sir.
Coast Guard natin. Ito ay totohanan, hindi ito staged. Number 2, you ask me, how do I feel? I feel that kung makakaisa tayong lahat, mas malakas tayo. Pero a house divided against itself would not stand. Sabi sa Proverbs, part nga yan uli sa effort ng Chinese Communist Party to sow intrigue, to create issues. Paglaban-labanin tayo, pag-away-awayin tayo. So we will forget the bigger issue, the bigger picture. What is that? Nang himasok sa ating karagatan ang Chinese Communist Party. PLA Navy, Coast Guard, Maritime Militia. They are doing coercive and aggressive actions. And they have deceptive messaging. ICAD. When we forget that and get focused yung bangayan natin, Pilipino sa Pilipino, sino ang panalo? Sila.
Since nabanggit mo, sir, ang ICAD, para sa akin, ang desisyon ng Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Department of National Defense to use ICAD as a way to describe kung anong ginagawa ng China, that it is not gray zone. It is not gray zone tactics na ginagawa nila sa West Philippine Sea, but it is illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive. Is very important. Kasi dati, parang sinasabi lang natin, gray zone tactics yan. Parang tinanggap natin na, pwede palang gawin yan kasi hindi naman pala illegal.
At wala tayong pwedeng i-respond doon.
Yes.
Kasi gray, neither
Yes.
black, neither white.
Neither black, neither white. So it's a gray area. But when the Armed Forces of the Philippines started using, hindi siya gray. It is illegal. It is coercive. It is aggressive. And it is deceptive. I think the world realized na, tama, we should call it illegal. We should call it a violation of international law. So para sa akin, napaka-ganda ng term na to because as far as we are experiencing in the West Philippine Sea, walang gray zone dito.
Totoo yan, Jay. Ika nga, huwag natin magpaligoy-ligoy. Hindi tayo, when we term it gray, tayo mismo naging confused. How do we react to that? Baka tama sila. Hindi totally mali yan. But if we say na mali sila, all we have to do is to be on the right. That's why yung ating panindigan dito is domestic and international law. UNCLOS Arbitral Tribunal, yung ating archipelago baseline, yung ating maritime zones. Yun ang panindigan natin because anything not mentioned in the law, mali. Ang ginagawa nila, wala sa batas, so mali. So we are just saying what they are doing is wrong. How do we address that? All we have to do is to do what is right.
Alam mo, sir, as we celebrate our 128th Independence Day, at sa haba ng ating kasaysayan, naniniwala ka pa ba, sir, na ang mga Pilipino we are still going to be maintain that patriotic sense of loving our country and defending our territory and recognizing na obligasyon nating lahat bilang Pilipino na tindigan ang ating karapatan sa West Philippines.
Yes, Jay, I believe na may mga marami pa rin Pilipino ang nais na sumuporta sa ating bansa. They only need to be exposed to the truth of what is happening, kung anong ginagawa sa atin ng Partido Komunista ng China. These Filipinos are just waiting for the opportunity. Paano kami pwedeng tumulong? Paano kami pwedeng sumuporta sa inyo? All we have to do, sa mga undecided, all we have to do is to go back to the lyrics ng ating pambansang awit. Yung nagsasabi doon na lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting. Sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiil. And then yung pinaka-last part nun, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Pag maintindihan, maisapuso ito ng bawat Pilipino, I believe, hindi sila papayag na manghihimasok sa atin ang ibang bansa. Hindi sila papayag na gagawin sa atin ang ginagawa ng PLA, Navy, Coast Guard at Maritime Militia. At hindi sila papayag na may mangyayari sa ating lupa na pasimpleng panghihimasok at kukontrolin tayo.
In 2 years from now, sir, magkakaroon ng eleksyon. Naniniwala ka ba, sir, na ang mga Pilipino, bukod sa kailangan nila maging matalino at mapanuri sa mga kandidato natin, do you believe na dapat ang West Philippine Sea ay maging batayan para pumili ng isang maayos na kandidato?
Siyempre naman, I would like to say, Jay, that all other issues, pwede tayo we could be on the opposite sides of the fence. But when it comes to the national interest, dapat buo tayo dyan. Yung panindigan ng bawat Pilipino ay buo. Ano yung mga national interest natin? Yung mga nais makamtan ng ating bansa para tayo ay mabubuhay bilang isang bansa friendly to everybody while we could aspire to live our lives to the fullest. Ito ang sinasabi ko na huwag natin pabayaan yung mga issues that would negate or madelineate yung ating panindigan. Not delineate, yung lalabnaw yung ating panindigan, especially sa West Philippine Sea. It's a national issue. It's a national interest na manatiling buo yung ating bansa. Hindi dapat matagpi-tagpi. So when it comes to the integrity of the national territory, this must be a defining issue when it comes to the 2028 election. And even beyond, na dapat huwag tayo mag-away-away dyan kasi ang sinusuportaan natin yung ating bansa.
Alam mo, sir, bago tayo maiyak pa sa segment ng podcast ko na to, pupunta na tayo sa part na magbabasa ako, sir, ng mga mean tweets and I'll ask you to react. Game ka ba dito, sir?
Okay lang ako dyan.
Okay, sir.
Ito yung mga bashers natin.
Yes, sir. Mga fans natin, sir.
Yeah. Ako naman, Jay, again, I don't take anything personally.
Yes, sir.
I'm always issue-focused.
Alam mo ako, sir, pag tinatanong ng mga tao, mga friends ko, parang, Jay, how do you respond sa mga bashers mo sa Facebook? Para sa akin, mga soulless to mga trolls na to. Di ba? Wala silang kaluluwa. Kumbaga, they were just doing their job para may pangsaing siguro ngayong araw. And there's nothing personal about it. And para sa akin, kahit marami kang basher sa social media, hindi siya totoo dahil, ma-experience mo rin to, sir. Kapag naglalakad ka in public places, people will thank you sa ginagawa natin.
Yeah.
Wala pa namang nagsabi sa akin habang naglalakad ako sa mall na minura ako, na naghanap ako ng gera. Majority of those people na nakakasalubong natin, nagpapasalamat sa ginagawa natin, sir. So, eto na, sir. I'll read this comment.
Sige.
According sa isang comment, sir, sa Facebook, tungkol sa yung statement na mayroong mga Pilipino na na-recruit bilang spies. Ang sabi niya, sir, yaw-yaw na naman, kakandidato ka ba?
Yun, number one, hindi ako kakandidato. Wala sa, plano sa buhay. Number two, kung alam mo what's happening, hindi ka magsasabi ng yaw-yaw. Kung informed ka. So it only shows na kulang pa siya sa kaalaman on what's really happening.
Yes, sir. Ito naman, sir, mula sa TikTok, ito ay comment mula sa iyong interview tungkol sa sinabi mong walang dapat ikabahala ang Pilipinas dahil walang banta sa seguridad natin ang nangyayaring conflict sa Middle East. Ang sabi niya, Iran won't bother. Masyadong malayo. Their missiles won't reach the Philippines. But you guys should prioritize modernizing the armed forces of the Philippines. Can you even intercept an incoming missile?
Tama siya. Tama siya. Modernization, hindi naman nasa wala. Ongoing yung ating modernization. Number two, we have limited, meron na tayo, but limited pa lamang yung ating anti-missile defense capability. So tama naman siya na we should modernize. It's ongoing right now through DND and the government. Number two, we have limited capability and we're still improving on that.
Yes. And this one, sir, from X, tungkol to sa interview mo kung saan sinabi mong the AFP will not be tempted to fire the proverbial first shot sa gitna ng maritime incident near Sabina Shoal where a Chinese warship vessel scanned the BRP Miguel Balbar. Ang sabi nung fan mo, sir, war freak leaders are stupid. Ang reality, meron ang revolusyon ng sikmura ang madlang people. Wag naman sanang patulan ng China ang ganyang preparatory to war narrative.
Pakibasa mo ulit yung reaction niya.
Kahit
War
ako, sir,
freak
naguluhan
leaders.
War freak leaders are stupid. Ang reality, meron ang revolusyon ng sikmura ang madlang people. Wag naman sanang patulan ng China ang ganyang preparatory to war narrative.
Yeah, yung first part na kanyang statement, war freak leaders are stupid. Tama naman siya. Because leaders have to be judgmental, they have to be calm, they have to look everything in the comprehensively. Hindi lamang na pag ginatungan ka, magre-react ka. Number two, yung sinabi niya na revolusyon, I think what he meant was, pag tayo ay na-illuminate na isang fire control system o ginawa tayo na isang coercive and aggressive action na delikado, hindi tayo dapat pumatol in the sense na mag-escalate. All our actions must be within the bounds of law. Case in point, yung Rore noong June 17, the most aggressive na ginawa sa atin, na may naputulan ng daliri, etc. Yung time na yon. That was, those were actions designed to make us fire the first shot. And it would give them now the reason to escalate. Bakit? Alam natin na their actions were designed. They would provoke us. That's why yung ating rules of engagement na nakalagay doon. The use of force is not allowed for mission accomplishment. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Huwag kang gumamit ng puwersa to accomplish your mission. Hindi ka pwedeng gumamit ng baril. Pag hinara ka, hindi mo pwedeng barilin. Except in self-defense. Alam din ng kabila yan. That's why lahat ng action nila was not against towards a person, but towards our equipment. Tinataga yung boat, sinisira yung equipment, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Hindi against the person. Because if you feel threatened, it's a judgment call. And I have to protect myself or my men or my unit, and I fire the first shot. Alam ng kabila that in the eyes of the international community, justified tayo. So their actions were not directed against persons, but against property.
Yes, sir.
Yun.
Ito naman, sir, from Instagram about your statement regarding threats to detain trespassers in the West Philippine Sea. Ang sabi niya, sir, pure lip service. The government cannot even use the water cannon. Chinese doesn't follow any maritime rule. We have to reciprocate what they are doing to us.
I would like to say na kakulangan sa kaalaman. It's not lip service, marami tayong ginagawa. Number two, the water cannon is not used to hit back pa ikaw ay ng water cannon.
Yes, sir.
Number three, patrolling the entire expanse of the West Philippine Sea and the other parts of the country, yung maritime domain, is a big challenge.
Yes, sir.
Accosting them and apprehending them is another bigger challenge. But I would say na misinformed siya kasi ang gusto kasi ng taong bayan, malamang siguro ito ay supportive sa narrative ng kabila, is pumatol tayo sa laban ng bata. Sabi ko sa isang interview natin, sa laban na ito, tayo ang matanda. Yung PLA Navy, Coast Guard, Maritime Militia, ang bata. Ang matanda, hindi pumapatol sa bata.
Kasi tayong matured, sir.
Tayo ang matured.
Yes, sir. Ito, sir, nakuha naman namin from YouTube and this is about the news forum you attended. Ang sabi niya, sir, how can you say to protect and maintain our sovereign rights if we can't even claim back the 3 man-made islands of China inside our exclusive economic zone and territories? That is the main reason why China keeps on increasing in our territories. Claim back what is ours, and China will have second thoughts in their incursions.
Ano yung first part ng kanyang question? Statement?
Sinasabi niya, sir, na
how could you
can
say?
you say to protect and maintain
Okay,
our sovereign rights? if
We will
cannot
continue
even claim
protecting
back
and securing our maritime rights, our maritime domain. Tuloy-tuloy tayo dyan. Now, itong tatlong man-made features ng Chinese Communist Party na loob ng ating EEZ, this started in 2011. The issue is, hindi naman tayo papasok para i-claim back at paalisin sila. If he understands warfare, if he understands international relations, if he understands yung pakikipag-ugnayan ng mga bansa, hindi ka lang basta-basta papasok dyan at paalisin mo sila. It is a fallacy to link yung secure and to protect from driving out the Chinese from the man-made islands. This could exist separately.
Yes, sir.
Andyan sila, we manage that different approach. At the same time, yung ating pag-secure and protect, nagpapatuloy.
Yes, sir. Next, sir. Wala na pala akong tanong, sir. Eto, sir, for my final and last question. As a, as a dashing flag officer of the Philippine Navy, sir, naniniwala ka ba, sir, na ang West Philippine Sea ay para sa Pilipino?
Definitely. I need not expound on that further. The West Philippine Sea and all the maritime entitlements doon. That includes Bajo de Masinloc, Scarborough Shoal, that includes Northern Islands. Ang dapat makinabang dyan ay ang bawat Pilipino.
Maraming salamat, sir. And again, Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day. God bless you.
Mga kababayan, Happy Independence Day. Another story and an eye-opening discussion ng ating natunghayan. Magkita-kita ulit tayo sa susunod na episode. Muli, ako si J. Tristan Tariela. Tandaan, no spin, no lies, just the truth.